Where is my journal? Nice. Oh. I just spent the past hour setting up the lighting, and now I'm ready to freaking actually relax and start thinking about my thoughts and figuring out what the hell's going on in my brain here. I'm in my room alone talking about why it's interesting that people suppress their emotions because they're afraid of change, and they're afraid of poop. I am so tired. Got this little quote going on here. There's nothing wrong with complimenting yourself, besides the fear of having an ego, which turns a beautiful truth about yourself into a self-inflicting lie. Or it sounds pretty intense, but I guess in the moment I was feeling that. A little letter to myself. Noles, ever notice how whenever you compliment yourself, you immediately discredit the compliment, even if it's true? For example, when you think to yourself, "Oh, that woman really liked me because I am courteous and selfless," what does it make you want to do? And I said, hug her and thank her for making me feel like I have something to offer her in exchange for her time. And I said, what do I do what do I do instead? I belittle myself. I am afraid of having an ego or being special. I always force myself out of that really positive point, and I bring myself to a neutral level, and I go, no, you shouldn't think that because you don't see many people going to that level. You know, how many people do you see running around and hugging people and saying, this is how you make me feel? Because it's weird, apparently, right? But at the same time, it's like, when you think about doing that, it feels good, but then you stop yourself. So obviously the first thing you want to do is think about it and be happy. So I don't know. I think I should probably just stick with that first thing and just enjoy the happiness. Feeling like to neutralize my emotions and neutralize my opinions of myself. Do you feel like you stop yourself from expressing what you want to express sometimes? Like, do you ever feel like because you're afraid of what people will think about you, you're afraid of being differently, that you don't express happiness or sadness or just telling people how you really feel and just, you know, connecting with them on that level that makes you feel so good that someone else understands? It's like you take that out. I don't really understand why. I don't know. It's like I really want to open up and just hug the people around me and just tell them exactly how I feel. But at the same time, it's like I just don't think that they would understand, and I would feel different, and I would feel like I'm not filling in that quota of what like a man should act like, or that citizen role of being a strong individual. I don't know. It's kind of backwards, because it's like you're supposed to be neutral, but if you were truly neutral, you wouldn't suppress feelings at all in the first place. It just kind of leaves me to question, like, why do I feel that everybody has that neutral mentality, and why do I have that neutral mentality? Like, why do we do that is a good question to ask yourself, I guess. Obviously, it's because I'm afraid, right? I'm afraid of having an ego. I'm afraid of being weak. Okay, I'm just going to read this. It's going to be kind of weird, but maybe I'll cut to some hilarious, like, scenery while I read this, and it'll be kind of, I'll try to, like, talk about it, like, all poetically and put, like, some, like, sweet ambient music in the back or something. I don't fucking know. I've come to a realization finally. I have come to an understanding of a long-term self-inflicting perception. I am surprised it took this long, and that it hasn't found its way back underneath my distracted agenda or pleasure-seeking mentality yet. I have finally come to terms with the crafty child inside me who believes blaming yourself for other people's emotions, or in other words, self-centering the conflicts of the world, will result in a better understanding of people and the world. Truly, by concerning myself with a friend's issue and feeling responsible for his wellness is one thing. Feeling distressed and spiteful. I don't like the way I'm writing this. I feel like a freaking university graduate apologizing for not making the dean's list. When I'm honest with myself, I hear a voice telling me that when I disagree with someone else's behavior, I should not continue conversation. I become spiteful because I feel indifferent. It's my own way of perfectly destroying an opportunity to grow. I bring myself down and I feel misunderstood, as if no one could understand. the next thing I do is rub off negative vibes onto other people. In retrospect, the result really is just to bring the other people down to a similar cycle that I'm in. And that's pretty much just like a defense, like just a way to, I don't know, feel understood, I suppose. It's kind of like a crafty little way to get around the truth. But like, I guess like I was saying, empathy is important though. And I feel how other people feel. However, a person / me who feels that it's normal to avoid understanding why this happens and why I become spiteful will always be a spiteful person. You will always convince yourself that it's okay to act and think a certain way, even though the majority of the time its effects leave you feeling empty, confused, and spiteful. So I guess that makes sense, I guess. But the thing is, I guess the reason for that is because it's scary to admit to yourself that a very prominent part of your personality, like instead of really truly opening up and figuring out why a person's doing something without just labeling it right away, you know, it's scary to admit to yourself that that part of your personality is illogical and irrational, and it's just a bad state of mind to be in. The reason why you get in that state in the first place is because you're trying to figure out the problem. But when you deny yourself the truth, you become confused, spiteful, and empty. The truth is not admitting to yourself that, you know, me and this other guy are different, or admitting to yourself like sometimes I'm spiteful. The truth is I'm afraid to understand. I'm afraid to change. I'm afraid of change. I'm afraid to be hurt or to feel weak. And, you know, most of all, like, you're afraid to be afraid. And that's pretty much why I feel like we stop ourselves from learning a lot of things, is because we're afraid of that change and to open up to people who we disagree with. But if you weren't afraid in the first place, there would be nothing left but just discovery of new things. I realize this is not something that you should expect of yourself, though. You know, without judgment or category, like I'm saying, like it's pretty much normal to do that, because if you were constantly learning and doing new things all the time, then your brain would probably overload and explode and you'd die. But some things are worth thinking about. So you just got to keep in mind it's a decision to not understand. And in that moment when you feel fearful, it's a defense mechanism, like that's what I'm saying. But if you just avoided all that and realizing it is my fear that's stopping me from learning the truth. Okay, I'm done talking about that. That's pretty cool though. I like that. I like that thought. It makes me feel pretty nice. I feel a lot more loose now. I feel more relaxed and like I'm actually talking to myself instead of talking to the world, because that's not a thing. I'm talking in my room by myself right now. A feng shui. Hopefully you guys can maybe, if you guys feel like it, question yourselves and think to yourself, you know, what do I really want to express? And even if it's just something simple like, hey man, even though I feel bad, what's your name again? And then don't feel sad about it. Just give him a nice freaking toss your arm around him and just be like, nice man, your name's freaking Ben. And that's what I thought, but not really. Always think to yourself, you know, when you're in a pickle, am I only doing this because I feel like I have no excuse not to? Or am I doing this because I really feel it's going to benefit me, not only benefiting my future, but also benefiting me right now? Because if you keep looking towards the future and you don't benefit yourself now, like when is the now going to happen? When you are in the now, you enjoy the now. Don't think like, oh, I'm in the now, but I should be doing the later. Just chill. I set up a lot of lights and I talked for like 25 minutes and it's 4 a.m. and I haven't slept for like 2 days. Well, a day and a half. See ya. All of my reasons for doing things on, you know, how it will benefit me instead of doing it on like how I'm feeling and like if I'm inspired to do it. And I find that it's basically, it has to do with like excuses. Like if I have no excuse not to do this, then I should do it because it will benefit me. But at the same time is like, you know, what do I really feel is right for myself? Do I personally feel that laying down and just thinking for the day and relaxing and even just sitting on Facebook or playing video games, do I feel like that's going to benefit me more than doing this? And do you let the fact that you did not do that task, do you let that bother you and then ruin what you really need to focus on, which is just relaxing your mind. Yeah, so that's kind of what started my thoughts. So what I wrote was, it doesn't matter if there is or isn't an excuse. The truth lies with what you feel is right for yourself. And then a little thingy, learn and move forward. So that's kind of cool. It's all about learning and moving forward, I think, and that's kind of what all my thoughts pretty much go to.
Nice.